Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Spencer Tillis.
And I'm Giselle Espinales.
And this is the Delmarva Sports Insider. In this week's episode, high school basketball is back in full force, and Y is looking to turn some heads with a big-time performance against North Dorchester. But how did the Indians look in their first real test?
And let's not forget about the girls who kicked off their season as well. Indian River taking on Sussex Tech. Can the Indians make it 2 in a row?
And the Wesley football team's playoff run continued yesterday, but how do they look against 7th-ranked Statesmen? But we start today with a huge showdown that never was. I mean, Parkside and Easton were both expected to challenge for the Bayside title this year, and it was expected to be a heavyweight matchup. But I tell you what, this one was anything but. The Rams already had a huge lead here in the second half when Lucas Holm connects on that long ball right there. The Warriors trying to make just some sort of comeback. Jack Wilson comes up with a rebound here. He decides to go back up, but that's a good choice. Gets the finish right there. And then it was the Rams' turn. Arvid Spence with a strong take right here. Gets the bucket and the foul. Make it a +1 for 3 right there. The Rams, well, they would put this thing away. Lucas Holm one more time from the corner right there. The jumper is pure. And the Rams end up taking this one and make a serious statement in the process. Get this for a final. 98-37.
Some big numbers.
That was unbelievable. I mean, I was listening to all the updates going on in this game, and I was getting shocked right now. Because, I mean, like I said, everyone expected these two teams to be right up on there. You looked at my preseason polls. I actually had Easton at number 4 in the Bayside. They're not going to be anywhere near there right now. I mean, Parkside looks legit. They look like they could compete with some college teams right now. I didn't see this coming. I mean, you look anywhere you want on the floor, that starting 5, they might have the best starting 5 or a starting person at that position in the entire conference. I mean, they are a solid ball club.
I mean, let's talk about the biggest offseason addition for the Rams, Colin Gaynor, who played for Stephen Decatur last year. Gaynor finished with 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. Talk about a great pickup for Parkside, and Dejor Diggs finished with 20 points, 10 assists, and 4 rebounds. Might be an easy season for Parkside with that dynamic duo.
Yeah, on top of that, they only played like the first half. I mean, they put up those numbers in a hurry.
All right, over in Lewis, a strong matchup. Cape Henlopen Vikings were hosting the Sussex Tech Ravens, and let's get to know these teams. Cape Henlopen comes off a strong season. They made it all the way to the DIA second round of the playoffs where they fell to Salesianum, finished their season 12-8. And as for Sussex Tech, they made it to the first round and finished their season 14-6. So as you can see there, it was a nitty-gritty game which saw the Ravens leading for most of the game, but the Vikings kept hanging in there with strong play by Ryan Thorberg from beyond the arc, but Sussex Tech came out on top 69-60 and their first win of the season. And you know, the best part about high school basketball is that these student athletes just put on a show. I mean, the environment was great for a Friday night. Both teams were represented well by the student body and just the play of both teams. It was a fast-paced game. The Ravens succeeded better in attacking the paint. They weren't afraid to get in there. Cape is a smaller size team, so they had too many outside shots, but still strong play from both.
Yeah, I definitely think you look at Sussex Tech, that's a quality team right there. And the key of them is Shawan Sykes. I mean, this kid is legit. He had 18 points, and trust me, that's going to be well below his average before the year is done. He gets rebounds, he does assists. He's the engine of that team, and they're definitely going to go far as this guy can take them. And that's definitely going to be pretty far. I mean, they're going to be challenging there for a conference title. I mean, this guy is a quality guy. You're going to want to see him down the stretch. Well, a big 1A showdown on the Bayside Friday night when Washington hosted Kent County in one of the best games of the week. Shakur Cotton here would come up with the rebound, decides to go back up strong. He would get a bump, finishes for the and one right there in traffic. The Jags had a 10-point lead till the Trojans made a comeback. Shamir Turner can't connect here on the long ball, but Marquand Green, you probably remember that name from football. Well, he's not bad at basketball either. Gets the follow tip in right there. Both teams just going at one another. Washington flies up the floor here. Cameron Sommer drills the long ball. At no time to celebrate, though, because the Trojans, well, they come right back and get the easy deuce on the other end. But Washington would buckle down defensively down the stretch. A great block here by DeConnie Mills leads to a Mark Jones lane. The Jags end up taking this one 93-77 the final.
Kent's a tough team, and they came out. We knew they were going to come for us. When they made that run, that's when our experience kicked in. And really that's what won the game for us was experience as far as coming down the stretch like that.
You know, I got to talk to Coach after the game, like, obviously, and, you know, he said they're talking about experience with his team. This really came down to experience in coaching. Purnell did one of the best adjustments that I've seen in a long time. They were getting killed by the Trojan center, and he was just dominating on both ends. So he went 5 wide. He started attacking him in space, got his 5th foul in a hurry, and that's right when that run started. I mean, they were at a tied ball game with 5 minutes to go, and they win by 17. It had everything to do with all of a sudden they controlled the paint, and Trojans could not run their offense without their big guy down low.
I mean, the Jags with 93 points. This is like college and almost professional basketball numbers. And no matter what level, defensively, if you can make the stops, you will win basketball games. So it's good to see them with those stops towards the end of the game. Mark Jones led the Jaguars with 26 points, Shakur Cotton with 17, and Jameer Jones and Deshaun Parks with 16. So if they can put up numbers like that every week, Washington may be the team to beat.
You're talking about people bunting around too. Deshaun Parks, a little pickup from the Rams. I mean, a lot of movement with players this offseason.
And we take it over to the little town too big for one state. Delmar hosting Seaford, and this is a rematch of last year's season opener where the Wildcats were on the road this time and fell to the Blue Jays 74-56. Seaford went 10-10 last season and Delmar 7-12. So both teams trying to turn things around. It's a whole new season. Delmar returns 5 players from last year's teams, but there was one player who wasn't on last year's roster who put up big numbers on Friday. Larry Ennis finished with 29 points on the night, which helped Delmar get their first 65-55 win. A close game, and Ennis ended up going over 1,000 points that night in his high school career, so congratulations to him. But overall, a big win for Delmar. But Seaford had some good things going on as well. Enter freshman Lester Fair, who finished with 14 points.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a long year for Seaford. I mean, they are going to be young. Look for them a couple years down the road. I just don't see it too much this year. But like you said, Larry Ennis, big congrats to him. He needed 28 points. He finished with 29. Just barely got that, but what an achievement. 1,000 points in your career, and then to get it on the other side of the bridge, I mean, that's a great job for him right there. But the real thing is, like I said, I'm interested to see what happens with the Wildcats team. I mean, they got a 3-headed monster there. They got some good guard play. Not much height down low. I don't know how it's going to be once you start running into those Polytechs of the world, some of those other teams down the stretch. But they definitely have a lot of talent there, and Ennis is the type of player that can score on anybody. So we'll see if he can keep them in this, and they're definitely going to be in a lot of ball games this year. Well, we're going to go ahead and take our first quick commercial break, but first, let us know by hitting us up on Facebook or Twitter what games you want us to be at this next week.
And that was a lot of points, so we have more basketball coming up after the break. Bennett making a huge statement against Queen Anne's. Don't change the channel.
My name is Colin Gaynor, shooting guard at Parkside High School, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.